But in general, and I love that I had the honor of coming on right after Dr. Colin Campbell. Um, he will say that we shouldn't be focused on individual compounds or in micronutrients or even phytonutrients, that we should look at the whole. And every sprout, and literally I wrote a section about every sprout in the book. It was actually so much fun because in the beginning I was like, oh, sprouts. But then I realized that's like saying dogs. And there's enough differentiation between like a Chihuahua and a Great Dane. Like they're both in the canine family. So sprouts are actually a term for a germinated seed, which could be from a nut, or a seed or a legume. And so there's a lot behind them. So I think that broccoli sprouts are super healthy, but it would be hard to get enough calories from living just on the broccoli sprouts. So you really want to have multiple sprouts in your repertoire. And I love what you're saying about having the 6 jars. I was growing 6 jars, in 1 cubic foot and getting thousands of calories a day, but I was growing a variety of them.
You suggested replacing salad greens with sprouts. Can we completely do this? Like, do we need to still go to the supermarket and buy kale and dandelion and broccoli, or do sprouts completely replace them? And then also, aren't we missing something if we don't have vegetables that are pulling minerals from the soil?
Okay, so you're asking 2 questions. Let me break it down. Number 1, vegetables from the supermarket for salads, if you have a sprouting farm in your kitchen, are unnecessary. Unnecessary. There's nothing in there that you will not get from your sprout farm on your countertop. Number 2, the sprouts actually have within them the minerals from the original plant that bared its seed. So what happens is the seeds for sprouting are grown in soil with minerals. The seed will sprout, turn into a sprout, then it'll turn into a microgreen. And then over several months, it'll turn into a mature plant. In this case, broccoli, a mature broccoli plant, as very familiar to us, or familiar lettuce. And then that plant will then flower, pollinate, and then the flower will fruit. And then there will be pods. And the pods are the fruit of the vegetable. And inside of there, those seeds inside the pods are directly connected through the root, the shoot, the stem of the organism into the soil. And inside of the seed, which is a complete living organism, contains an endosperm and an embryo that are enriched with the minerals of the soil. And when you sprout it, nature has given us this gift that you can sprout that seed into a vegetable over those 5 days without anything else other than you adding water. And then the sprout itself is intelligent enough to sequester carbon and oxygen from the environment and grow into an edible, mineral-rich vegetable.
So the $1 million question is, assuming that we've now
wait, Steve, I don't get a mic drop for that last explanation.
That was fantastic. Thank you for that detailed, knowledgeable explanation. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm feeling like I'm with an expert on a topic, and I'm trying to get every possible answer, because once you leave, I don't know how to ever find this information out.
Okay, let's go then.
Okay, so here's the $1 million question. Assume that we're saying that a huge sprout salad of a wide variety of sprouts for lunch and dinner is the ultimate food. It's the best possible food we could eat. How effective do we think this is in preventing chronic illness and reversing chronic illness?
I mean, it is literally priceless. Like literally, I've had lunch with billionaires, and I've had lunch with people who don't have a pot to piss in. And the common thing is that they were both eating sprouts. So I believe sincerely and earnestly and emphatically that sprouts create food equality for all, because they are so available, so easy, so accessible that anyone can have them, like in any environment. And it brings me joy to be able to answer that $1 million question with the fact that the sprout salad is healthier, it's tasty, it's filling, it's delicious, it's safe, and it's available for anyone who seeks it with earnest desire. Like literally, if someone wants to prevent or reverse their chronic illness, they can do it with sprouts.
And do we have any evidence that people have reversed chronic illness through diet, such as a very high sprout diet?
I mean, Steve, you have the best Rolodex, in the world for this. So when you start to speak to, like I did, with these professionals, they will tell you sprouts are vegetables. So every benefit of the whole food plant-based diet can be achieved through sprouts. Now, what happens is it's such an abstract concept that it's hard for people to get their arms around it. But if you were to take the nutritional profile of what you were to consume and bifurcate that from the labels and the names of they were, and show someone, okay, I had a 6-course meal, and the nutrition in each course contained this, 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 and this, it would be much easier for someone to give you that affirmative yes than if you said to them, hey, I had a big sprout lunch, etc. What do you think? Am I complete? Because the society has demonized sprouts and has relegated them off to be the ugly stepchild, to think that they're just a garnish or a side dish or for some hippy dippy trippies, and they're not real. But if you were to take the meal and pull out the nutrients from them and put it on a list and go talk to your dietitian, nutrition, they'd think like you're eating the golden diet. They'd say, holy cow, Steve, what an honor, what a privilege. You're crushing it eating this diet. And then when you tell them what it is, they're still going to tell you, oh, you got to eat other stuff because sprouts aren't enough. Like that's how brainwashed society is. They're just brainwashed. They have no clue, but you do.
Doug, sometimes when I buy a mixture of sprouts, I realize I bought a variety that's too spicy. It's really hot.
Yeah.
And some of it's really spicy. And I just say to myself, this is too hot. If I somehow found a way to eat it, am I getting even more benefit by these hot, spicy sprouts?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think the hot, spicy, are part of the plant's defense mechanism. And it is not necessary to have that. I think, as your mentors will say, you want to have enough variety of sprouts, you want to have enough calories from sprouts, and you want to eat them actually in moderation. So when you start to go deep on the daikon radishes, etc., like they could be burning hot. And I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't torture yourself. Food should not be something that you fantasize for, but you shouldn't have an aversion to it. So what happens is, someone offered me straight radish sprouts, like I would have an aversion to eating the straight radish sprouts. Like I would want to have no more than 5% by volume of the radish sprouts. And it took me a while to develop the taste buds that I can eat, handfuls of broccoli sprouts by themselves, because they were a little intense for me in the early days.
There were some people who used to say, I haven't heard it lately, to grow your sprouts in diluted ocean water so that it absorbs the 92 minerals that are in the ocean water. Is that something you're recommending?
I mean, there's a lot of fanciful things that you can do. A lot of the ocean water is also dubious depending on where you're getting it from and diluting it. You could also add minerals to it, where they make mineral packs, whether they're fulvic minerals or ocean minerals in a concentrated form in a dropper to it. I tend not to feel like I need these other things. Like, I feel I'm a very simple New York guy living in the desert, and I'm grateful to have basic um, uh, provisions. And so I like that sounds very exotic for me and a hurdle. So I don't want to make it harder for people to enter down the sprout path by having some exogenous requirements like ocean water.
And if I'm using your sprouters, what sprouts can I not sprout in your sprouters in light? Are there certain ones that have to be in the dark? Are there certain ones that need to be planted in soil? What can I not do that you're recommending with your sprouters?
Well, if you like to sprout for meditative purposes, you can sprout sunflower seeds in them. I tend to prefer my sunflower sprouts to grow on a tray because they grow up. So you can grow pea sprouts in our jars in our sprouting kit. Pea shoots need to be grown flat. So pea shoots and sunflower shoots, which are terrific, they need to be grown flat so they can grow up. Chia and flax are gelatinous, and they won't do well in the glass sprouter either. They need to be grown on a sprouting medium, or, believe it or not, on a chia pet. Like, you can get a chia pet, sanitize it with hydrogen peroxide, and then you could be growing your chia and flax on a chia pet.